Hey, what's going on, everybody? So I am back with part two of the biography review videos. So it looks like the first review with the Hulk Hogan biography actually did better than I expected. So we will continue on with the review of these booklets. Now, going into this review video, I just did like a 4 or 5 minute video real quick, and I had to delete it. It was crap. What was so boring about it is pretty much the first several pages of this booklet are nothing but it's just basically reading. So I'm actually gonna flip through this with you here on the floor, as opposed to doing it the way I had been doing it, where I was on the table and just kind of pausing through. So I'm actually gonna go through these first several pages very quickly with you guys and kind of just pinpoint some highlights. Because with these booklets, man, the pictures, man, that's what it's all about, man. You don't want to sit there and be reading the introduction and all that stuff. So again, 1985 Titan Sports, they released 3 of these biographies, which included Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, and Andre the Giant. So we are going to be able to take a look at each one of those 3 booklets. And I am laying here on the floor, so it's going to be a little bit easier for me to actually go through these pages. So just like the Hulk Hogan booklet, on the insert, you're going to have Digicolor, and you're probably not going to see any more color until the last page of the booklet. But yeah, it's pretty much be a black and white booklet. Yeah, some photographs. Give credit to Steve Taylor, Tim Peters for some of the photographs. Alright, so special recognition here. Give you guys the opportunity to read this really quickly. So, I wanted to pinpoint this introduction real quick. Just give you guys a quick opportunity to read this. Kind of read this in the voice of Roddy Piper. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds, and I will begin my spew. Alright, so you know how Roddy Piper talks when he does his promos and his intros, man. He's all hyper, he's all red-faced. He's overly, not, I wouldn't say overly aggressive as in violent, but passionate, definitely. He's loud. He's, I don't know, I enjoy the way that he talks, man. Like, a lot of stuff he says is like way out there. Like, what the heck are you even talking about? Like, does that even make sense? And it doesn't most of the time, but you just get a kick out of him because he's just an integral part of your life. He's definitely one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. As I've said, he's easily on my top 10 list of favorite wrestlers. And does it have to do with performance in the ring? Not always. I think he is easily one of the best performers to ever step in the ring, most definitely. But outside of the ring, in life, the man is just a human being. You hear all this talk about like the Ultimate Warrior and how you'd have like cancer kids would show up to the arena, and guys like Savage and Hogan and Bret Hart, you know, all these guys would stand by. They would take pictures and give autographs and everything, and how the Ultimate Warrior wouldn't even come out of his dressing room to even take pictures, even talk with the kids or anything. And that's not Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper is a man of the people, right? He's just a great guy. You meet him in person, he's the type of person you just kick back and drink a beer with. He's very personable. And I don't think he even gets enough credit for being a brilliant actor. I mean, is he out there going to be like Kiefer Sutherland or Sean Penn or Hugh Laurie? You know, some of these guys that you think that who is the other guy? The guy from A Beautiful Mind and Gladiator. Oh man, why is the name's eluding me? But you guys know who I'm talking about. When you think about the most brilliant actors, is he going to go beyond that list? No, because he was never in those type of movies. But the man was absolutely brilliant. And you look at this right here, the Triumph of Hulkamania and Mr. T, when they squared off against Orton and Roddy Piper at WrestleMania 1. I think that Roddy Piper really played his role to perfection, where he truly allowed people to believe that he had a true hatred for Mr. T. I don't think that's what it was. I mean, I think Mr. T and Roddy Piper, you know, they're both performers. They're both brilliant actors. My buddy Kirk, I've talked about him before. If you ever get the opportunity to check out his channel, Kirk's Corner on YouTube, definitely give him a look, and I would highly recommend a subscription, guys. He's close to 1,000, so let's help get him over the top. But he turned me on to this movie called, oh man, what was it called? Hell Comes to Frogtown, I believe it was called. And I'm like, damn, I love those type of movies. It's like Mad Max, but it's also like science fiction, right? And I'm a horror fan, but I always thoroughly enjoy, you know, sci-fi movies as well. And that was just like so freaking incredible. And I like these shirts because I've got a number of Roddy Piper LJN customs, and I get so many Superman customs in as well. So that's pretty incredible. I've got kind of like a reference point for my LJNs. Damn, Ricky Steamboat looks so freaking young. I don't know why. Whenever I picture Ricky Steamboat, I always kind of feel like he just appears older to me. Maybe because I kind of think about Ricky Steamboat in like late 90s WCW type of deal. And it wasn't even late 90s. It was probably like early mid 90s. Because I kind of remember him not necessarily wrestling on live TV, but like I'd watch like older videos, most certainly on like YouTube. So where I've seen it in like years past. Especially ever since I got back into wrestling. I don't watch any modern day wrestling, but I always go back and watch matches and stuff from the 80s and 90s. To me, this was never my Ricky Steamboat. Again, the 90s Ricky Steamboat, the actual dragon with the whole dragon costume and everything, and shooting the fire. That right there. That's, to me, the whole black pants, black spandex, ninja look. I don't know. I didn't grow up watching that Ricky Steamboat, so that was just never my feel. And I guess that's one of those reasons why I just wasn't a fan of the Ricky Steamboat LJN figure. Of course, Roddy Piper, poor guy, one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite wrestlers, and he gets one of the worst LJNs too. But his is, I think, a lot more enjoyable usage-wise. What was Ricky Steamboat? Was he Hawaiian in real life? If I'm not mistaken. That's what I gotta get. So I hear a lot of customizers always talk about Bob Orton, and they always try to build on like a cast onto that Bob Orton figure. And I've seen a couple of customizers, and I think a friend or two here or there send me photographs of the work that they've done, where they've built on those casts and whatnot. Uh-oh. Ricky about to throw down. Man, I'm a fan of this Bob Orton jacket. I gotta be honest. I like this vest thing of his. Little dangling tassels and everything. Come on, man. You don't come onto the Piper's Pit and try to throw down. Uh-oh. Look at Roddy. Uh-uh. You don't come onto my stage and try to pull that crap. Love it. Brilliant. That's it. Walk away. Why, you still got your dignity. I need to find this now. I need to find out what the hell happened. Considering the unfair odds, Ricky Steamboat backs off. Yeah. Come on, man. To me, Roddy was always one of the badasses. I love Roddy. Because, you know, he wasn't this 6'8" guy or whatnot. You know, he wasn't like, think about like The Rock or Brock Lesnar, you know, one of those like ultra built size guys. He always performed. Like, you see him in Rumbles or Battle Royals or something, the man always performs. And he always seems to throw out like the most impossible of wrestlers. You see him clothesline The Undertaker over the ropes, and like, to me, anyone that can eliminate The Undertaker, you know, that's an A in my book right there. Who is this? Is that SD Jones? Yep. Sweet. Yeah, Piper, let's see. Hell Comes to Frogtown. Thunder in Paradise was, I mean, I don't really remember Thunder in Paradise, if we want to be honest about it. But I knew as a kid, I saw that either movie or TV show. If it was a TV show, again, I can't honestly remember. I'm thinking it was both. But I did see it, and I actually bought that VHS of the movie like months and months and months ago, and I never watched it. And I don't know what the heck's been holding me up, because that's like one of my childhood favorites, like right up there with like No Holds Barred among you know, wrestling-esque movies. And I think anyone that had like wrestlers in the movie, I would consider it to be a wrestling movie, even though it wasn't necessary. Like I said, I kind of think of it as more of like a Hawaii Five-0 type of deal. And I got Paul Orndorff. Just looking at the shoulders and the back of the head, you can already tell. Yeah, this is so much easier than having to sit there and kind of like pause in between and move the booklet every single time I wanted to turn the page. So, get the Paul Orndorff up there. All right. Puma. You know, I just kind of, just sitting here and looking at the Puma on the t-shirts, I just kind of noticed I got the Puma t-shirt on my poster. I thought I just had the regular Roddy Piper version. What do you have on his shirt? Hot Rod. I didn't realize I had the Puma variant. And I think the Puma variant is actually far more rare, if I'm not mistaken. And if it's not rare, I still prefer the Puma. I think it looks just a lot more cool. But yeah. They Live. How do I forget They Live? I've always knew about that movie, but like, for the life of me, I don't think I ever knew Roddy Piper was in that movie. And either late 2023 or early 2024, I finally sat down, I think I was on Tubi or something, and watched that movie, and I'm like, this is brilliant 1980s sci-fi. Or was it 1990s? It was either 89 or 90. I think it was 1980. No, I think it was 80s. I think it was 88 or 89 when that movie came out. I mean, it was like the greatest horror slash sci-fi movie ever. No, but I mean, come on. There's a reason a movie like They Live is a cult classic, right? It's like, I don't know, what's a great one? Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp, 3 movies, all absolutely brilliant. Love them all. Are they the greatest horror movies ever made? No, but shoot. They're still on my list of greatest set of movies ever. Greatest trilogy, among the greatest trilogy of movies. So yeah, I mean, Piper, he's been in some freaking fantastic stuff. My wife showed me the Mario Brothers episode where he guest starred, and I thought that was so awesome. When you see someone of his caliber appearing on a kids show, knowing that small kids who grew up or growing up and idolizing you, they're doing it for the small fans, especially, man. That's incredible. Roddy Piper has about as deep, I have about as the deepest respect for Roddy Piper than probably anyone out there. Absolutely brilliant. And there were times I've gone back and I've watched these videos on YouTube where he's and this is like had to be just before his death, obviously, probably early to later to early 2000s, and he's in the ring and he's talking about wrestling and having the passion for wrestling, and it was just such a heartbreaking and a heartwarming speech. I mean, it was like such a touching moment. I gotta like find that because I want to put that on the channels and find somehow to incorporate that. I think this booklet's even longer than the Hulk Hogan booklet. So we got Paul Orndorff, we got Hogan. I see Snuka back there. I believe that's Orton. That right there might be like, I don't know, Mr. T possibly. No, that's not Snuka. That's gotta be Orton right there. Why did I call him Snuka? Stupid me. The big confrontation. Pipe begins to feel the Hulk's wrath. That's alright. The biggest face of the 1980s and possibly the biggest heel of the 1980s. And again, I think that having Hogan and Piper together in Thunder in Paradise was fantastic. And I'm glad I'm actually calling it the correct name because sometimes I call it Tropic Thunder. And Tropic Thunder was the Robert Downey Jr. movie that came out in like 08 or something. And it's good that I'm saying the right name for once, because I always mispronounce or misrepresent the movie. So I try to go a little bit faster now because we're hovering around 20 minutes. I'm trying to get this in a little bit quicker. That's a good look. That's a good picture right there with Orndorff and Piper. One thing I just found out not too long ago, Roddy Piper is actually part of the Hart family. Now, he is, I think it was actually, did I hear that? Did I hear right? He was born in Canada or he's from Canada somehow. Now, how is he part of the Hart family? Is he like married in or cousins or I don't know. But it kind of takes away that whole what was it, WrestleMania 8 feel for me, because that whole Bret Hart winning the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 8 from Roddy Piper, that kind of blows, because Roddy Piper had the opportunity to finish him off with one final blow, and then it would have been an easy pin, and he could have retained the championship. But instead, he decided to do the right thing, the moral thing, took the moral high ground, and it cost him the championship. And for whatever reason, I kind of feel like it takes away from the morality if by making them related, or if they are related in real life. It's like you're less likely to hurt your family than you are. Well, that's not true. I was going to say you're less likely to hurt your family than you are some stranger, but I think in reality, we all know that we're more likely to hurt the ones we love, depending on the situation. All right, now we're getting close. Freaking Jimmy Snuka. I never look it up. I always talk about it, but I never look it up. Either 2008 or 2010, they had a Legends reunion type of deal where they brought back a lot of, well, legends. And it was a Royal Rumble. And Jimmy Snuka, and he's like probably 60 something years old, man. He's old. Gray hair and everything, overweight. Just barely tapping the guy, and like, come on, man. Make wrestling look somewhat real. This guy's barely tapping you, and you're playing it off like it's the worst pain ever. I hate that. Come on. And then shortly thereafter, he enters. Roddy Piper comes down the aisle. And Roddy Piper is like severely overweight himself. And I'm like, oh man, you definitely let yourself go. And Jimmy Snuka's just sitting there staring at him from the ring. And he's got this terrified look on his face. But I thought that was brilliant, though. That was a lot of fun to kind of see them rehash their vengeance from like 20 years prior. And the last page. This is a fantastic look. And I'm glad that this is the final page in color, because this looks solid. And yeah, I've seen this LJN a lot. Alright, so this is Roddy Piper. Alright guys, so probably in a few more days, I will come out with the final magazine or booklet review, which is just simply the Andre the Giant booklet. And from there, we will dive into the actual magazines. Still, I don't know how I want to look at those magazines. Do I want to do what I did in the first video? Do I want to do what I did in this video? This right here made it easier, but it's not so good on the back, so... or the elbows, so we'll see what happens. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time. Goodbye, everybody.